We are Ben and Brandi. You might know us from our overlanding adventure videos, but we wanted to share a different adventure with you today. In 2020, we sold our 2,300 square foot home and set out to build a home of our own from the ground up. This is the story of that journey.
Looks a lot different right now. So we had done some talk about doing a slab, but we opted to do a foundation with a crawl space. Reason being, you can make mistakes with your plumbing and other things and get back into the crawl space to fix these things. So it's actually a good idea that we did this because we did have some plumbing issues we had to go back and fix. So as you can see here, we're pouring the footer and the walls for the crawl space. This here is called a pony wall, and it's whenever your concrete's not level. And at first I didn't like the idea of this, but after doing it, I'm really glad we did it, because if you ever need to get into the crawl space with any kind of conduit or anything else, it's nice to have that pony wall to drill through. So I would definitely recommend doing a pony wall. So I will say, when we started this house, we had the intentions of building a tiny house, but this ended up being more of a small house, which is a 28 by 32. And the reason we went with that is so we could use 16-foot lumber and 14-foot lumber. So I can't say enough good things about having an Amish crew. I mean, I could go on and on and on. They're the hardest workers. They know their business. But what I will say is they have a start time and they have a finish time, and they do not like going over either. So by 4 o'clock every day, I lost my Amish crew, and I had to pretty much come back and finish out the day by myself. So let's talk a little bit about what lumber we used. We used all grade A lumber. We used 2x6 for the walls, 2x12s for the floor joists, and 2x10 for the ceiling joists. Our interior walls are 2x4s. We went stout on this house. We wanted it to be here long after we're gone. One of our biggest saviors on this project, and our biggest money savers on this project, was buying from resale stores. These people have overstock items from home builders like you wouldn't believe, and you get things at a fraction of the cost of new things. So don't feel like you're too good to go check out resale stores. They were absolutely amazing for us. Okay, so we framed off our bathroom here, but we wanted to do a walk-in shower on this master bath. So we framed out like a little angle wall here, where we're going to put a toilet, its own little private. It looks like about 30 inches by 27 inches or so. So just a little add-on here right before we do our plumbing. We figured out why we were getting plumbing ready. Building a house for me was one of the most fulfilling things I could do. Not to mention,
When doing this electrical, I got to decide exactly how I wanted the house wired. I got to decide exactly where I wanted outlets. And now, every time I look at an outlet or I see anything in this house, I know exactly what's behind the wall. And there's really nothing more fulfilling than that.
Yeah, we could put the main GFI right here on the inside.
Well, no.
Then if the outside one's stripped, I'd know right there. You know what I mean? Sound fun enough?
Yeah.
Not going to take the whole header out, the doorway out to get the shower in here. Good thing we didn't wait until we were done sheetrocking. Because that would have been a real nightmare. And as you can see, I'm still suffering from the COVID stuff because of my hair.
Yeah, there it is.
Anyway.
So we built this house on a tight budget, and that tight budget included electrical. So we had pretty much zero waste, and we cut every wire run down to the inch. I'm actually pretty proud of this. Low waste.
Well, the biggest thing I think about is how when we started here, I was 16 pounds heavier.
That's what you care about right now?
That's what I care about.
Okay.
Keep the handle straight.
So this drainage underneath in the crawl space was one of the most intimidating things for me. But looking back at it now, it actually wasn't that bad. And I'm glad that I went ahead and took the plunge and just did it by myself.
Or 3 inch to 2 inch.
Okay.
Hook me up. 3 inch to 2 inch.
Okay.
So I want to take a minute to talk about my PEX setup. If you take a look here, I've got my main 1-inch line coming in, PVC from our well. And what I wish that I would have done is buy a PEX manifold system. And even though this is a small house, I just wish that I would have done that. What I did instead is I just ran a T off of a T off of a T, and I just figured with 2 small bathrooms that would be enough. And it would have been enough, but in the end result, we put a ton of water volume into our master shower, as you'll see later on. So I want to give you another little tip here on plumbing. As you can see, this is PEX ran through the floor joists of the upstairs on an exterior wall. And this particular plumbing we have some issues with freezing. And the reason we do, and on any exterior wall, always run your plumbing as close on the inside as you can. That way when you spray foam or you put a bad insulation, it goes behind it, and that seals your plumbing on the inside of your house instead of the outside. We had one particular spot, and this was it, where it was too close to the exterior wall, and the spray foam insulator spray foamed on the outside of the PEX, and it sealed the PEX to the outside of the house. And this usually doesn't cause a problem, but if temperatures drop in the negatives here, like for instance last night it was -1, and this froze up. This is a toilet line, and we didn't have water filling on our toilet because of this. This has happened twice now. So just a little pro tip there for you. Make sure your plumbing is pulled as close to the interior wall as you can, and put your insulation on the outside.
So, we're primarily doing spray foam on the exterior walls in the crawl space, but we wanted a sound barrier because it's a smaller house. So we're putting these bats on the interior walls. And we'll probably just do the important interior walls like bathroom to the shower backing or anywhere where you don't really want noise. Okay. One down. 500 to go.
Okay, so take a look here. This is our problem child. If you notice ever so slightly in the top right hand corner, there's a small piece of blue PEX. That's coming from the ceiling from the other side of the bathroom, and then it comes down the exterior wall and it ties into all these other PEX on the left hand side. If you notice, all the other PEX are ran on the outside of the insulation. However, the one in the top right hand corner is tucked in behind the insulation with the spray foam on top of it. This causes that line to freeze because the barrier is on the wrong side of the PEX. This is a mistake that I'm trying to warn you about. Please be careful. Do not do this or you'll have a line freezing. Eventually, I'll probably have to pull this and reroute it on the inside of the insulation. So if there was one thing that I knew for sure right from the start that I did not want to do on my own, that's sheetrock. Carrying these big heavy pieces of sheetrock or drywall up the scaffolding and then holding them above your head 20 feet in the air to hang the ceiling just didn't seem like something I wanted to do. So this was around $3,000 or $3,200 to do this house, and that was money well spent. And these guys did an awesome job, and they were able to have it done in about 2 days. So this single-handedly was the biggest project that I had somebody else basically do for me.
Thank you for our subscribers. We're built this whole house for you.
Although we made several mistakes while building this house, this was really the only health mistake we made. Don't paint without a mask. I should have known better than this, and I was just in this mode of getting everything done, and I literally sprayed the entire ceiling and the entire house without wearing a mask. My teeth were painted white. It was all over my glasses. I was coughing it up for the next couple of days. Just not a good idea.
Is this your room?
No, it's toilet room. So we've got no toilet in here, and we've got a stinky bathtub. I don't like it. But look at our floor. It's like perfect to slide around on. And a little bit of spin. And our normal floor. This is my bedroom. This is a chandelier. Yes.
So this is another little mistake that could have been much worse. We ordered a mini split system, and this mini split system has several different heads that all come back to one main outdoor unit. In our case, there's 4 different heads of different sizes. The 2 kids' rooms are 9,000 BTUs, ours in our bedroom is a 12,000 BTU, and the living room is an 18,000 BTU. Now, the mistake that I made, is each of these units that are different size has a different size tube, hose, whatever you want to call it, that runs to each unit. It's very hard to tell this with all of the insulation on them. They all look the same. So I accidentally ran the wrong hoses to the wrong rooms. And after it was all insulated and sheetrocked, we almost had a real problem on our hands. But as you can see here, we came up with a very ingenuitive idea to basically snake a piece of 1-inch PVC through the wall, and then we basically used it to guide this new hose so that we could run the bigger line to the bigger unit. Thankfully it worked, everything worked out, but do not make this mistake. Make sure you check your hose sizes of each unit. So let's talk kitchen cabinets, because you can go to extreme measures and spend extreme amounts of money on kitchen cabinets. Again, this comes back to what we did with buying things that are repurposed. We found these cabinets with countertops and everything on Craigslist for around $1,000, maybe $1,200, and then we just custom fit them and made them fit where we wanted to put them, and then I just did some custom trim work on them to kind of make them look okay. And then we went through and caulked the cracks and everything up with white, refinished them in the white paint, and then we had custom countertops made out of granite for them. Worked out really well, probably saved us half of the amount of money, and we're pretty happy with it. Same thing with our solid oak hardwood floors. This is all repurposed. We bought from somebody on Craigslist. Actually, I think it was Facebook Marketplace, where they had purchased too much, and it just turned out to be exactly the amount that we needed for our basically entire floor. Okay, so I'm just about to do the grouting here, and boy am I wore out. I had a late night last night trying to get all this finished up, but this is going to eventually be our walk-in shower. And I built the floor pan and everything out of mortar and tiled it all last night. So, real close. Just got to put grout in the cracks on the walls, around the edge on the floor, and then seal it all up.
So that's the story of how we built our home. At 1,200 square feet, it's about half the size of the house we came from, but it's the perfect size for us. With the equity from selling our old home, we built our not-so-tiny house and are now living mortgage-free.
All right, go ahead.
Even though our home isn't completely finished, we wanted to share our progress with you. We hope you'll follow along as we continue this journey.
If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop us a comment below. Also, if you wouldn't mind, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more of our adventures. Until next time.